The Rock is once again flexing his powers in a very unique way, so we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out some news for Kevin Owens, Santino Marella's daughter, and much more. Starting things off with The Rock and his latest big threat and some more other teasers related to him. The Rock dropped a near 20-minute long social media promo last Friday afternoon, and we still haven't covered everything from it because there was just simply so much to get into there. So from that promo, let's take a look at the threat and plans that The Rock laid out specifically for Seth Rollins. One thing we've heard The Rock boast and brag about since his heel turn was his positioning within the company. The Rock was named to the TKO board of directors a few months back, meaning that he's a part of the main top team that overlooks both the WWE and UFC, an extremely high up position that he's in along with a few other high official board members. And since The Rock's character has turned to the dark side, he hasn't been afraid to flex his power and position in an evil boss kind of way, just constantly reminding everyone that he's their boss and he can do whatever he wants to just about anyone. And there is some inconsistencies and plot holes to that, which we'll get to in a minute. But in this latest attempt to flex that board of directors' influence and power, The Rock takes an aim at World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, telling Seth that if he doesn't stay out of The Rock's business, he'll make sure that Seth's World Heavyweight title reign comes to an end, and how he can easily move that title to be around someone else's waist whenever he so pleases and strip Seth of the title. And everything The Rock said there about stripping Seth Rollins of the world title and giving it to someone else sounds scary, sounds intimidating, sounds like a great way of presenting his higher up position in a heel-like faction. But the only issue here with what The Rock said is that it all sounds good and scary, but everything he said he can't actually do within the WWE storyline universe. But if he claims he could do it, then the big plot hole and big question to ask here as well, why doesn't he do it then? He claims to have all this power and be everyone's boss. So why doesn't he use all this power to fix all of his current issues? If he can do everything he says he can, why doesn't he strip Seth Rollins of the World Heavyweight title and remove Cody Rhodes out of the Night 2 main event and insert himself back in? That's the main problem with The Rock boasting about all of his power. It's all pretty much empty threats that you don't really have to pay much mind to, because he can't actually do any of those things within the story. And if he claims to be so powerful and in control of all the decision making, why did The Rock go up to Triple H and tell him to fix things after the Wrestlemania press conference? If he has all this power that he says he has, why does he even need to ask anyone else to fix anything? Why can't he just fix it himself? So that's just some of the inconsistencies and plot holes that open up when The Rock talks about his power and positioning of the company. It all sounds great and evil, but nothing he's threatening people about has any shot of actually happening within the story. So we don't really have to pay much mind to those threats. But of course, if you're Seth Rollins' character, maybe you aren't fully ignoring the threat of being stripped of your title, and maybe you'll be a bit more cautious going forward. The other big teaser that's been going around and getting broken down by fans is the teaser within The Rock's entrance bowl. If you take a look at The Rock's Titantron entrance video, the bowls that are on each side of the stage now have extremely glowing red eyes. This is a new recent change because those same bowls had blue eyes prior to The Rock's heel turn. So the easy thing to assume here is that the glowing red eyes represents The Rock's change in character ever since his heel turn. But is there an even deeper meaning to those red eyes? What if they don't represent The Rock turning heel per se, but maybe it's meant to signify that The Rock has just gone fully rogue? Meaning that he's not only a threat to big babyface characters, but maybe even a threat to fellow heels, Roman Reigns and his other family members, because just how out of control he is, he can't be tamed. So that red-eyed bull itself could be a massive teaser to what we'll continue to see from The Rock in coming weeks, and maybe even months, Will he take out Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and just stop at nothing until the WWE title is back in his hands? It's definitely a scary possibility at the moment. Santino Marella's daughter, Arianna Grace, has been building herself up in NXT ever since returning off an injury and continues to have a regular role in the brand. Well, Santino Marella recently spoke with Developmentally Speaking, and he gave his thoughts on what he hopes to see for his daughter's future in WWE. He had this to say, quote, "She's already featured on NXT every week, and she'll just continue to do more and more. I'm hoping in 2025, maybe we see her somewhere on Raw or Smackdown. She just has to get more reps and more matches and more matches. She wouldn't be ready to go have a match with Charlotte Flair at Wrestlemania, but if she's on the screen with Charlotte in a pre-tape segment, they look like they're in the same league. That's really important. The perception of someone being a superstar, the wrestling will come," end quote. So Santino Marella has a lot of high hopes for Arianna Grace's career. He's predicting a 2025 main roster call-up, and maybe not massive matches right away, but at least some backstage interactions with some of the biggest stars in the women's division to continue to keep that superstar perception alive and growing. Speaking of sons and daughters of WWE superstars, Kevin Owens recently gave some exciting information about his son's potential future inside of a wrestling ring. While speaking with Inside the Ropes, Kevin Owens had this to say about where his son currently stands for when it comes to taking up a career in wrestling and following his father's footsteps. He had this to say, quote, "He doesn't eat it like I did. I was living, breathing wrestling 24/7 when I was his age. He's not like that, but he likes it. He likes sitting with me and watching classic matches that I choose to show him. And whenever he gets to come watch live, obviously he appreciates everything. He wants to try. He wants to start training. I'm in no rush. He's 16. I started when I was 14. And while I'm thankful for all the experience, it was probably too early. He can take his time. He's just turned 16. He's 6'7", around 280 pounds, and he's still growing, I think. I think if he wants to, he has the tools to have a pretty good career if he were to choose," end quote. So if Owens does decide to take up wrestling, that does make himself and the next generation of superstars something big to look forward to. Kevin Owens says he's only 16, but he's still growing, even at 6'7". So maybe he does reach that 7-foot mark in a few years. And everyone knows that 7-footers are usually looked at as the bigger-than-life spectacles inside the wrestling ring. So Owen would have that going for him right from the jump as well. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.